How's it going, people? Just want to put a big shout out there, first of all, to all those that have been sharing our video, our content. It's really made a massive difference. There's more and more people watching our content, and of course we're getting those that probably never discovered our videos before and are, they're coming with some negative comments, but that's fine. Their comments are fine as long as they're not abusive and keep it clean. We don't mind that. We don't also mind a bit of banter as well. So yeah, so keep the comments coming. But yeah, thank you for all those that have been sharing. I know it's quite difficult to get back to everybody's comments and say thank you. So I would take this opportunity to do that now. There are some people out there that really would like to help in many different ways, and one of them is coming out and speaking about their experiences. That's been along with working deep inside, either with Thomas Williams, Kim, or some other big shot intel person. Should we call them for this video? But we've always wanted to have someone to come forward and not necessarily be brave, because this person that we've got on today, wouldn't see themselves like that. They just want the truth to be put out there, and not in any way of what we're about to show you have we put the words into this person's mouth. They've decided to come forward weeks ago, and between then and now we've had some discussions, and we've reassured this person that because they're going to be sharing their experience, and we won't tell you what it's all about, apart from the fact that of course it's within Kim's network. We just don't want them to feel afraid of coming forward and speaking with us. Now, of course, what we're about to show you, hopefully, this will lead to other people wanting to do the same. We've changed this person's voice, which he's agreed with, and also he's agreed to change his name, because we recommended that anyway, because anyone in their right mind, I would say there are some very, very brave people that don't change their name. They've always used their real name, but we know what happens to those that, if anyone that's in Team Bubba and you do your bit to expose and come forward, they will destroy you. You've seen what they've done and what they've said about us, which is, it's just not true at all. That's for another video, which will be coming soon. But so this person's come forward. We really are lucky to have someone do this. And I said, hopefully it'll open the floodgates and other people want to speak about their experience. And it doesn't necessarily, like I said, this video is not, and I know this, but we'll call him Ben. Ben is not doing this to make it negative. Yeah, there will be negativity in it, but it's more about their experience and what he's come across, and to help others. Because remember, when you come out of, and it is a cult, you can deny it as much as you want, but it may be on a different level, not quite like the Nexim stuff to some of you, but to a lot of others, they have experienced the same kind of things that go on in them cults. But Ben's going to be honest, and doesn't want us to be turned into any kind of bashing of Kim or anyone in within her network, within Kim's network. And we've agreed we want to keep this on balanced, and the way that they set up this interview is, of course, it's pre-recorded answers from Ben, Now, we asked the questions, which we've sent him in advance. He's had time to think about it because it's really important that he doesn't compromise himself. We don't want him to say something that anyone in Kim's network is going to go, I know who he is, yeah, we know who he is. And, we just don't want to do that. And we have to try and be as professional as we can, Team Bubba. And, of course, I said he has to protect himself too. So, yeah, so this is the setup. We've sent him some questions. He's had time to think about it. He's responded back in an audio file, and we've changed the voice to hide his identity. So what we're going to do is start off with these are going to be over a period of time because of the amount of time he's going to take to respond to us and for him to think about making sure that he's got his facts together. And there's no lying here, okay? You can listen to him. He's very credible and intelligent. So anyway, I won't waffle on anymore. So this is the first question that was sent. And first of all, thank you, Ben, very much for coming forward. It's amazing that someone like yourselves can come after what people have said about us. You still saw through that veil of lies about us, and because of what you've experienced, you've given us a chance to try and get your message out there. So we really appreciate that. So anyway, so here's the first question. Can you share with us a little bit about yourself without compromising your identity? Also, do you mind discussing some of the alt media truth movement shows you would have watched before you entered into Kim's world?
Sure. I'm married. I'm a parent. I work for a living, meaning I'm not independently wealthy. I've been on to being defrauded by governments, medical system practices, educational systems, religious systems, and more for many years. I've done my best to find out what's real, which seems increasingly difficult. What best supports helping my family and my loved ones in many different ways. I love nature. I enjoy cooking, gardening, art, and contemplation and inner seeking. Several of these things are a big part of what eventually drew me to Kim. A very trusted friend had suggested I look into her in the beginning. In and of itself, that helped me be very open-minded to Kim being credible. My friend shared something she felt excited about and thought it would interest me to know about and possibly become involved in too. Knowing that each of us would only want to benefit one another, it's natural to have a positive mindset while exploring what we send each other. My spouse and I watched some of the initial Kim presentations, including the very elaborate flowchart of illicit characters, meaning the cabal, the families, the players, and pawns, all the way up to Marduk, or down to Marduk, depending on how you see it. We listened to her talk about really complicated, lengthy timelines and concepts that she was able to speak very fluently about and consistently say the same thing over time about. She answered with what appeared to be really credible information, a great deal of questions, and connected a lot of dots for us that we wondered about for many years. Especially ever since the COVID con was launched, we both suspected foul play and went looking to make sense of what was happening. We watched or listened to many of the Q movement commentators and players, and lots of others too, in the quote-unquote truther arena. We were trying to find threads that we could weave together into some kind of picture revealing what was really happening, what and who were behind it, where was it leading, and how could we best equip or brace ourselves for all of it. It was a really stressful and fear-provoking time in those early days of the COVID narrative especially. For hours and hours of each day, I would look at what any or several of the following had to say. Robert David Steele, Santa Surfing, Joe Rogan, Charlie Ward, Charlie Freak, JCK, Simon Parks, J.P. Sears, Elizabeth April, David Icke, Sasha Stone, it's not so easy to say, Sasha Stone, Russell Brand, and then of course lots of conversations on WhatsApp chats or Telegram chats or Signal chats, emailing other people and sharing reflections to try to put it in seemingly endless pieces of a shattered mirror together and see a clear picture. I remember feeling more and more anxious in those first few weeks especially. One day, the thought that really drove me to be so devoted to searching on this particular topic came clear. The worst case scenario was they were going to come and storm down our door and take our underage child and force an injection. The question that was driving me was, how do we prevent that? And what do we need to do? What do we need to know? Do we need to go somewhere else if we can? Do we need to hide? So by the time my spouse and I got to Kim, we were full of questions, as you can see. And all of those questions and those above folks were broadcasting on YouTube or then Rumble or wherever had some pieces of information. But they didn't have that clear conviction and assertive sense of delivery and background of massive amounts of history and supposed prehistory that Kim had. So more and more, I had just focused on her content. It helped that my spouse and I examined it and took it in together. My spouse kept an eye on whether any of what she said actually produced a measurable result, far better than I did. Eventually, my spouse stopped spending the hours listening that I was spending, just relying on my summary, and then took more of an, I'll believe it when I see it position, but still supported me pursuing her information. Finally, the many hours I was spending daily, feverishly working with dedicated others to get an assembly ratified, when that was a thing, and not only listening eagerly to United Network News, called UNN, broadcasts, but also participating a lot on many Life Force, later renamed CARE, Telegram chats, and related endeavors. All of that was far too out of balance. Fortunately for me, my spouse was kind about helping me see that. I'm aware of many others whose families and marriages became very damaged and even broke up over this same kind of thing. I remember reading on one of the threads for CARE, I think it was at the time, I don't think it was Life Force at that time, that a woman was upset because her daughter had given her husband and her father-in-law a Christmas present, but not one for her. She said her husband explained that she spent too much time meditating and listening to all these endless broadcasts from Kim and wasn't giving her daughter enough attention. So that's how her daughter was striking back out at her from the hurt. She didn't seem to see that she needed to make a change and that her daughter was in pain. She just seemed indignant that nobody understood how important listening to Kim is. It's completely on me that I chose to spend so much time away from my family and focused on Kim and trying to support all she said she was doing. Because of her confident, assertive delivery and her quote-unquote intel, I thought the best thing I could do for my family would be to help create the net that catches all of these constructs of the world that were about to fall over, because Kim was taking them out from the top. I thought that if I helped prepare by doing needs assessments in our communities, restoration projects, and by getting our assemblies ratified so we would be ready for funding, and endless other things, maybe there would be a world worth living in for our children. Because I believed in a liar, albeit a shrewd, credible con artist. Due to my own open heart and tendency to be honest, I projected that Kim was honest too. I spent time that I will never get back, investing in projects and aspects and ideas that looked like they had merit and sounded good and noble, but were nothing more than her imagination. They had no substance. They still have no substance. Her latest greatest thing is assurance cards, which are free healthcare and animal healthcare for all. It is absolute pie in the sky, but she delivers it like it's going to happen tomorrow, and she has been saying that for over a year that I can count. Show me one single program or promise that she can prove unequivocally is something she delivered. The only thing I can even remotely see that fits this could be her United Network News channel, which is supposed to be the real news, but it's really just another con. There are people spending hours of their life making videos and sharing, in many cases, really good information from their hearts and contributing that content to Kim for free. That is real. There are other people completely volunteering to do all the administrative work to put that together and broadcast it. That's real. And then Kim comes on with her intel, quote unquote, which is mostly, as far as I can tell, gained from other people claiming to have intel themselves these days, and serving it up with a good side of the tomorrow game for people to hang on every word and keep paying their monthly subscription fees for that, and maybe plus an illegally streamed cable channel to pay for Kim's living expenses so she can sit on the computer and figure out more ways to con and entertain. When I was immersed in that culture, I didn't question these things. When my spouse would ask what she has said that can be actually proven, I would defend her. I have forgiven myself for falling for it, but I'm working on forgiving myself for the time that I should have given my family instead. For that reason, instead of saying to myself that I'm foolish, I say to myself that I projected onto her the values I live by about being honest and kind, and I was mistaken about her doing that. That's why I fell for it. I will still keep living honestly and kindly, just a little more discerning.
So there you go. That's the answer to our question, which I think was a really good answer considering what he's been through, and it gives you an idea what Ben, the kind of content he looked at, which led him to Kim's network, which many of us probably went down the same road. You know, many of us in Team Bubba have started off at a certain level and we've reached up to a certain area, and then it becomes obvious that you're not just, we didn't just jump in with Kim and that's the only person, that we've listened to, or with Thomas Williams. There's many of us, and we keep getting questions the same as like, what do you do then? What do you do to make anything difference in the world? It's a good question. But then, we have fake names and fake profiles, so it doesn't matter what we tell you, you're not going to believe us anyway. And we don't care if you do. Because what we do in our private life are not much different to what you would do in Thomas Williams' group or Kim's. It's just that we do it in our own communities. That's the only difference. But going back to the answer from Ben, it's where this is leading to. It's leading to where to someone you can relate to and say, wow, he's gone through quite a lot. He's already mentioned that he spent so much time that he can't get back, that he couldn't really spend with his family. Which is kind of, you could say that about us with the Team Bubba thing, but there's absolutely no way we'd spend as much time as what Ben has and many others in that network. And we've had loads of people come up to us and say to us, lost everything. I lost my own business because of what Kim said to them, that it didn't fit with what she was doing. So that person had to close their online business. Kim didn't tell them to, but if you want to get anywhere with Kim, there's certain things you need to do. And one of them, for this person that told us that they was obliged to close down their business, online business, if they wouldn't get anywhere with Kim. And even to this day, I don't know why. But anyway, so this is the interview part 1. We'll have part 2 coming up very soon. And like I said, it's a fair answer, and wait until you hear the other questions that we have, and I can imagine what the answers would be like too. So we won't do any spoilers here, but thank you all again for listening. Please do share this content, because I guarantee that when you've listened to the other answers from Ben, you can relate to it and you won't feel like a fool because you fell for stuff, or you feel like maybe you've learned something from that journey. So it's not all lost, and we all do things in life that we wish we'd never done, but it's what's made you what you are now, which is, it can only be a positive. So yeah, please share. Hopefully, say this will lead to others that'll come forward, and that's only what Ben wanted to do, is just put the truth out there for you to relate to it. And it's still up to you what you want to do, if you want to continue down a journey with Kim, or something for you to think about. And as I said, there's many people like Ben that's going through the same right now. So this video and many more is for you out there that are wondering, and maybe you feel alone, whether you're not. There are others that have been through it too. Anyway, thank you very much everyone once again, and hopefully we'll get the part 2 out as soon as we can. Take care now. Bye bye.